I'm going to give you guys about a 5-minute heads up and we'll get started. So if you guys want to get all your final preparations in place.
Aló, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. Sí.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deputy Chief of Police Patrick Robinson with the Sarasota Police Department. And on behalf of the men and women of the Sarasota Police Department, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, and all of our state and local partners, I'm here to give you a heartbreaking update to the Jabez Spann case. Before we get started, this remains an active, very active and ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Jabez Spann. So some of the information will be limited to as far as what we can share, and I might not be able to answer a lot of your questions. So please be cognizant of the fact that we want to ensure that the veracity of this investigation is withheld and that we are going to do our best to get you all the information that we can. So that being said, let me go over some of the facts that we can release and then see if we can answer any questions as we go along. And again, some of the information will be limited, so please be respectful of that. Saturday afternoon at approximately 4:30 p.m., skeletal remains were found in a rural portion of Manatee County, west of I-75, under the jurisdiction of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. I mean, I'm sorry if I seem a little choked up, but we are talking about someone's son here. We just spent a significant amount of time with the family, and no matter what your opinion is of the case or the circumstances surrounding this, this was somebody's child that people cared deeply about. So if you'll bear with me, I apologize. That call came into the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. The remains were located by an individual working in the area on a fence line. One of the points that I have to stress to you here is that the location that the body was found will not be released at this juncture due to the fact that we still have work to do in that area. So I will not answer questions as to where that was, but it was west of I-75 and in Manatee County's jurisdiction. Today, a forensic dental expert, a forensic odontologist expert, compared dental records to that of Jabez Spann of the remains that were located in Manatee County. These were a match. The match was then verified by our medical examiner, and we feel confident in making this notification. As I said earlier, we have notified the friends and family of Mr. Spann and our community partners. It's unknown how long those skeletal remains were at the location where they were located, or if they were transported there from somewhere else. Basically, the timeline was on Saturday, a man repairing a fence when he located the remains and called 911. As I said earlier, this will be handled as a death investigation. The Sarasota Police Department will remain the primary lead investigative agency, backed up by our partners at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. And I'd like to take a moment to thank Sheriff Wells and his staff for the professionalism that they've shown throughout this investigation and continued investigation. Just a little bit of the history of the case for those of you that are not familiar. Jabez Spann, a 14-year-old at the time that he was reported missing in September of 2017. On September 5th, he was reported missing by a family member. The family last saw Jabez on September 4th, 2017, when he was leaving a family gathering and headed to his friend's house. Today, like I said earlier, I'm sad to report that we were not able to recover Mr. Spann or find him living and return him to his family. However, we did find skeletal remains that were linked through dental records to Mr. Spann. This has remained an active and ongoing since day one of this investigation. I'd like to take a moment and thank our state and local partners as well as our federal partners. First and foremost, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, as I said previously, and Sheriff Wells, the FBI, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, all of our local and state search and rescue groups, which there have been many since this investigation started, Sarasota Crime Stoppers, Sheriff Tom Knight and his investigative staff at the Sheriff's Office, all of our community partners, all of our community members that have shown support to the Jabez's family and friends as this investigation has gone on, our focus group members, and finally, and really primarily, and I think all of our investigative team can back this up, is we'd like to thank the Spann family for being patient with us and being partners with us while we conducted this investigation. As I said, they were just notified of this by our investigative staff and our victim advocate, and as you can imagine, this is a tremendous loss to their family and our community. I'd like to touch on the reward. Just as a point of context, there has been a reward offered in several different increments throughout this investigation. And they've been offered by a number of different groups. Since December of 2017, a reward of $50,000 has been offered by the Sarasota Police Department, Sarasota Crime Stoppers, the FBI, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. At this juncture, we are going to be working with those partners to find out how we disseminate those rewards, if applicable. And this is the difficult part in any of these investigations because we all want this to be brought to a successful and positive end. Unfortunately, today we were not able to give the family what we had been hoping for in our investigative staff, which was Mr. Spann home to return their son to them. This is a very active investigation. We would ask that anyone with the information about the disappearance of Mr. Spann come forward. You know, although this closes one chapter in this investigation, we are opening another chapter in this investigation, which is the death investigation. We're pivoting off of one foot and leading right into the active investigation. Again, I can't answer a lot of questions in reference to this because it is very, very active and we still have an active crime scene, but I'm willing to answer any questions at this juncture if I can.
Deputy Chief, can you talk about how difficult, with it being skeletal remains, it will be for forensic investigators to try to find any clues that a crime was committed or any evidence left on his body?
Absolutely. We have a team of very well-trained investigators to do our forensics. This is when the painstaking criminalistics work will come into play. And we're going to be reaching out and working with our state and local partners. Obviously, there'll be DNA testing that will come along with the forensic odontologist and ME's report, but that's going to be one of the painstaking things that we're going to have to go through. Again, I can't speculate, nor will I speculate on how long the body has been in that location. However, I can tell you it was fully, the remains were fully skeletonized.
Did it have any clothes? Was it the same clothes that he was wearing when he was missing?
I can't go into those investigative details.
We know this was an emotional moment for you to break this news. We know you were hoping for a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
How's the family doing tonight? It's been heartbreaking for them every step of the way. Can you give us kind of an update on how they're doing?
Absolutely. I think it would be, many of our detectives, and I can tell you the case detectives have children of their own. I'm a father, as is the sheriff. I can't imagine having that information broken to me about my son. Obviously, in reference to how they're feeling, it's just like any of us would be feeling if this tragic end befell one of our children. Again, they have been incredibly supportive. They've been incredibly patient with us. Even there's been highs and lows in this investigation where there have been sightings and tips and things that we followed up on. And every time it's a peak and a valley, and they've stood with us and our investigative team every step of the way. And I can't imagine how terrible this whole situation is. But that being said, they are going to stand behind this investigation as we move into the next page and try to bring justice for their son.
I know you can't say exactly where his remains were found, but would it be somewhere where a 14-year-old would wander off to, or does it look like someone put him there?
This is not somewhere that he was known to frequent. Let me put it that way and leave it at that. It's not somewhere that we believe he would have wandered off to and then just sat down and passed away. We believe that, we will, and those facts will come out later on, but we do not believe at this point that he left Sarasota under his own volition and went to Manatee County where his body was found.
Any person of interest?
Not at this point. I can't speculate to those facts.
Where does the investigation go from here?
Well, like I said, we're going to pivot off of the missing person case and start following up additional leads, and the gentleman pointed out some of the forensic leads that we'll be following up on. So we are going to focus, and we're going to go back through and scour the leads that we followed up on and start reaching out to additional personnel within the context of our jurisdiction, that being the FBI, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. So we're pivoting off a missing person case and into a criminal case.
Is this anywhere where some of the people went out searching? Because I know there have been a lot of search parties.
Mm-hmm.
Is this far off from where they were?
This was outside of our original search area, yes. So it was a little bit further outside of where we had originally searched.
In a rural area of the county or near a residential area?
I think it would be safe to say that it is a rural area.
So
And was there any other evidence found at the scene other than the remains themselves?
I can't discuss that at this time.
So it's like a cattle ranch, or was it nearby a city, or like real close to the interstate, 10 miles?
Tim, I appreciate the question. It's a rural section west of I-75, and that's as far as we're going to take it at this juncture. However, when we are able to release that information, we will release it to all our partners.
Obviously, someone out there knows what happened in this case tonight. What message do you have for them now as you move forward into the investigation?
You know, when we've said it time and time again, we've always felt that there are individuals in our community that are scared to come forward. The folks that did it, we believe, are from our community. We know that people in our community know things that they haven't shared yet. Look inside yourself. We want to bring this family justice. We want to bring this family peace. If there's anything at all, you don't have to come to law enforcement. You can call our partners at Crime Stoppers, send an anonymous tip, talk to a pastor, bring it forward in any way, shape, or form. This could happen to anyone. We need the community support and their help, their eyes and ears to find out what happened to this young man so that we can further this investigation. It's through our community that this will be solved, and we've said that from the beginning.
Deputy Chief, would it be accurate to say you guys have to really go back and start from the beginning to piece this together? You had the key man witness to murder, in the area where he lived with his grandmother in Sarasota. I mean, how does it sort of all work to try to attack this case?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. We're not going to speculate at this moment as to the connection to any other crime. This will be handled on its merits alone, and we'll be, as you said, we'll be going back and basically starting from the beginning and going through, scouring our case files to ensure that every lead, every tip was followed up on, everything was handled 100% to the end. We're going to run this thing to the end, and we are committed, as our staff is, our investigative staff, our patrol folks, all of our partners. We are committed to bringing justice to the Spann family.
Any message to all those people who went out and searched for him?
You know, it's through their efforts and their strength that we move forward on these cases. You know, a special thanks to our investigative team. This has not been easy for them. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of phone calls with very, very upset parents and relatives. You know, they have worked this thing tirelessly. Like I said, we talked about peaks and valleys. They've lived this thing from the day that it occurred. And that's lived through various iterations of supervisory staff that handed off as they retired. We have new captains that come in, and we are all dedicated to making sure that this thing doesn't get left behind. We're going to move this case forward, and you know, it is a, you know, thank you. You know, it's because of their efforts a lot of these tips came up, and quite frankly, we would not have been able to build any of the investigative leads that we had if they hadn't come forward. But this is not a short road. You know, this isn't a sprint. It is a marathon, and we need all the folks in the community, anyone that knows anything. You know, like I said, call in, call the tip line, call Crime Stoppers, tell a pastor if you don't feel comfortable, tell a friend. We will follow up on everything and anything that's brought to us. As I said, this is a tragedy for our community. It's a tragedy for our investigative team. It's a tragedy for the Spann family, and we are committed and will continue to be committed to solving this case.
Is there still reward money available?
As I said, we will be working with our state and local partners that put that money up to distribute that. That's going to be a joint conversation that's going to have to be had after we sit down with them.
Isn't it like the arrest and conviction?
I'm sorry?
Is it the arrest and conviction?
You know what? As I said, we called you guys as soon as we notified the family, so we haven't even sat down and talked about rewards yet. As I said, that's going to be something that comes on the back end, and I know that there is some concern reference to that. I assure you when we have those answers, we'll let you know.
When the person found the remains, did he automatically think Jabez, or did he just call in to say what he found?
You know what? I'm not sure. I have not talked to the gentleman, but I'm not sure what his initial. I'm just so very, very thankful. Number one, the gentleman picked up the phone and called right away, and the sheriff's staff got out there so quickly and secured the scene so that we had the opportunity to recover what we were able to recover.
Do you have an estimate on, you've invested a lot of time in this, multiple agencies, and I know it'd be hard, it's a difficult question, but manpower, like how many detectives and investigators have been on there, probably countless.
Well, first and foremost, I don't think you can put a dollar value on any of these
I'm just saying that
investigations.
number of people that
Oh,
you're
sure.
talking, dozens or?
You know what? I would say there's hundreds and hundreds of men and officer hours and investigative work that has gone into this. However, I want to stress, we don't look at those things in these cases. These cases, you can't put a price on a 14-year-old. We don't look at it from that. We don't look at it from that standpoint, nor will we ever look at it from that standpoint. I can tell you, having worked many homicides myself, you will work them because there is an intrinsic value to this young man, to this family, to this community, and we're not going to look at the dollar signs. We're gonna keep working.
I didn't misunderstand, I meant number of officers that have been assigned to the case, and I'm assuming they're probably.
You know what? I couldn't even speculate. As far as time is concerned, I can tell you hundreds upon hundreds of hours of our investigative team. I would say upwards, based on just a ballpark figure. I mean, we've had at least 5 different agencies involved, state and locally, so you're talking at least dozens, I would say, and that's the primaries, not the secondary investigators that might follow up on additional information. But as I said again, and I didn't misunderstand your question, I just want to make it clear to the folks that are watching at home, we do not put a price tag on a life. We're going to work this thing. Every lead that comes in will be followed up on, and we're going to work this thing till the end. Well, with that said, if there's no other questions, thank you guys all for coming out this evening. Thank you to Sheriff Wells again for coming out and supporting us in this endeavor, and his personnel that have been absolutely professional since day one with this. If you know anything, please let us know, and we will follow up on everything that we can possibly follow up on. Thank you very much.
Hours a day.
I know, yeah.
I think I saw you the same 3 things today, didn't I?
Yeah. One of those days.
Yeah. Are you guys getting a new reporter since Erica's left?
Yeah, I'm sure eventually.
Oh, yeah. I saw her. I saw